The useRef hook. When we are working with React components, rendering is the prominent feature that gives us the up-to-date user interfaces. A render will cause the entire component to be recreated. This includes function recreations, value recalculations, resetting the local variables, and recompiling the JSX. Even though having everything up to date is a good thing, sometimes there can be disadvantages. For example, if your function creation or value calculation takes some time, the entire rendering process can be delayed. Now this can provide a negative user experience. React does provide you with some solutions for these scenarios. For example, a function can be wrapped with a use callback hook. A value calculation can be wrapped with a use memo hook, making them persistent between renders. They have their own dependencies, making sure to recalculate or recreate where necessary. As for our local variables, if we want to persist values between renders, we can use the useRef hook. In order to use the useRef hook, first we need to import it from the React core. Import useRef from React. Then we can create a variable with it, const. I will type count equals useRef. You can pass in an optional default value. Now this count is an object which is having the property name current, which can be used to retrieve the current value of the useRef hook. We will use JSX to visualize that. I will type count.current and save that. You can see in the right hand side the value 0 is being displayed. We can use the current property to update the value also. To illustrate this, let's create a button with a function update. And for the function, const increment, we will type count.current equals count.current plus 1. And let's log the value. Save that. You can see the updated value in the console now. As you have noticed, the browser does not update because updating a useRef variable does not re-render the component. Now let's see how useRef hook is persisting values between renders. To create a re-rendering environment, let's introduce a useState variable and increment it with the button. Const, I will call this a number. Set number equals useState. Initially the value will be 0 and a button to increment that. On click, set number plus 1, and for the label render, save that. Each time I click this button, the component will be re-rendered. Now let's update our useRef hook variable. You can see the current value is 6 now. If we render a component and the value is not changed, it should display as 6. You can see it is displaying as 6, meaning the useRef hook has not been affected by this rendering process. One of the tricks that you can do with the useRef hook is to display the previous value of an input. In this component, we have a simple input element, and the onChange event of that element is set to a useState variable named text. So when I enter a value, you can see the value is being updated on the browser. Now let's add a useRef variable to hold the previous value. Const frame text equals useRef. Let's update the JSX portion. Frame text. Now let's add a useEffect hook with the dependency text useEffect. Each time the text is updated, let's update the pretext value. Pretext dot current equals text. Let's save that. You can see when I type, the previous value is displayed using the useRef hook. As we know, updating a useRef variable does not re-render the component, and the use effect is fired after the text variable has been updated. By the time of rendering, the pretext is always holding on to the previous value of the text. The update happens after the re-rendering process. That is why we are getting the previous value here. One of the other uses of the useRef hook is that we can use it to manipulate the DOM. To illustrate this, let's look at a simple example. In this example, we have a button and an input field. Let's see how to focus on this input using the button click. First, let's create a useRef hook variable, const input ref equals useRef, and we will take this input ref variable and assign it to the ref attribute of the input element, ref input ref, and in the onClick event of the button, let's call to a function. I will call this focus input. Let's set the function const focus input. Inside this, we can use the useRef hook variable input ref current dot focus method. Save that, and let's try by clicking the button. You can see the input is being focused. Since React is a JavaScript library, developers may misuse the components with the useRef hook, as it can be used to run vanilla JavaScript functions. It is always better to follow the rules of the React and do the DOM manipulations along with the state, rather than using the useRef hook. That marks the end of this simple tutorial on useRef hook. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Stay safe until we meet on the next one.